Bonjour tout le monde. Alors, nous allons regarder le passé composé, the perfect tense. So it's how to talk about a single unique action in the past, a completed action. You've got a lovely little drawing of a cornichon. A cornichon is like a pickle, like one of those little gherkins. But in French, if you say somebody's a cornichon, it means that they're a bit of a twit. So, je ne suis pas un cornichon. J'ai utilisé le passé composé. I'm not an idiot. I've used the past tense. Here we go. We're going to use it with regular verbs to start with. So it's used to talk about single unique actions or events that happened in the past. It's made up of 3 parts. You've got the subject, that's the person or thing doing the verb. You've got the present tense of avoir or être, and then you've got your past participle. So first of all, we need to know avoir and être. Pause the video here for a second and just remind yourself, what are the verbs avoir and être in the present tense? I know you know them. Okay, here come the answers. So avoir, I always say avoir, to have, is lots of A's. J'ai, tu as, il, elle, on a, nous avons, vous avez, ils, elles, ont. Être, to be, lots of E's. Apart from the first one, je suis. Tu es, il, elle, on est. Nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont. How many did you get right? If you didn't get them all right, don't worry. Copy them down now and make sure you learn them. Test yourself on them, get somebody else to test you. Very important. So, we've got our subject, we've got our helper verb, avoir or être. And the past participles of regular verbs are easy to find. For regular ER verbs, the past participles are formed like this. You take your infinitive, regardez, you remove the ER, and you add an E to the end. Okay, so regardez, so looking for something with an E acute accent will always flag up for you it's in the past tense if it's with avoir and if it's with a subject as well. For IR verbs, regular IR verbs, you take your infinitive, finir, take off the IR and add I back onto the end. Fini. Then RE verbs, take your infinitive, perdre, to lose, you remove the RE, and then, wow, go crazy, add a U, perdu. J'ai perdu mon livre. I lost my book. Right, so let's have a go ourselves at conjugating these verbs. That means changing them, putting them into the perfect tense. So you've got the example there. Jouer is your infinitive. So we know that with an ER verb, you take off the ER and you put on E with an accent, and that gives you your past participle. In brackets, you've got the pronoun that you're going to use, il. So you're going to have to find the correct form of avoir to go with il, and that gives you your perfect tense. Ils ont joué. They have played, literally, but we would probably translate it as they played. So let's try it with number 1, manger. So we know how to form our past participle with an ER verb. We've got our pronoun, which is je. We have to find the correct form of avoir. So the correct form of avoir for je is j'ai. And then we're taking off the ER, putting on an E accent for manger. So j'ai mangé, I ate or I have eaten. Pause it here and have a go yourselves. Bonne chance! Accent. Here we go. J'ai mangé. Numéro 2. Nous avons saisi. This one's an RE verb, so it's going to be il a attendu. Vous avez perdu. Elles ont entendu. Elle a rougi. She blushed. She went red. Ils ont grandi. They got tall. They grew. J'ai pensé. I thought. Tu as lutté. You fought. As in to fight. Nous avons visité. We visited. Fab. Hopefully you got some of those right. Now, obviously, there are some verbs which have irregular past participles. Not every verb follows the same pattern. That's why we have some irregulars. Let's have a look at some of these. They've got irregular past participles. You just need to learn these off by heart. I would really like you to write these down because they're ones that come up again and again, and you do have to know them. So take your time. You've got your verb like avoir, you've got what it means to have, and then next to it you've got its past participle, which is eu. Boire we've come across, to drink. Bu, j'ai bu, I drank. Okay, really useful verbs. Pause the video here, write these down. If you are unsure whether a verb has a regular past participle, you can use your verb tables or your dictionary to check. Okay, so you can just look back in, look it up in a dictionary, or use verb tables. These irregular past participles are also some of the most common verbs. You do just have to learn them. It is a bit of a pain, but that's the way it is. Right, translate these sentences into French. All of these past participles are irregular, so they are all on that list that we've just looked at. So pause it here, have a think. Remember, the format remains the same. You're going to put the correct pronoun first of all, then the correct form of avoir, and then you're going to use your irregular past participle. Let's have a look. Number 1, I had a cake. J'ai eu un gâteau. We read the book. Nous avons lu le livre. He wrote a letter. Il a écrit une lettre. You, familiar, so using like tu, laughed. Tu as ri. They saw a film. Ils ont vu un film. If you've put elles ont vu un film, that is fine. She said no. Elle a dit non. You, plural, so we're looking for vous here, took the bus. Vous avez pris le bus. I lived in France. J'ai vécu en France. We drank some tea. Nous avons bu du thé. They, feminine, opened the door. Elles ont ouvert la porte. Okay. Okay, here you're being asked to do something a bit different. You've got perfect tense phrases, but each one contains an error. Can you say what the error is, and can you note down what it should be? So, for example, ils a lu, it's the wrong part of avoir. It should be ils ont lu. Look at je mangeais. Past participle's correct, but what's missing? Always, as always, in the bottom right hand corner you've got a little reminder that you need the subject, the present tense of avoir, in this case, and the past participle. So obviously that's what's missing. Anyway, pause the video here, have a go. Can you work out what's wrong? And we'll bring up the answers in just a second. Okay, so how did you get on? We talked about the first one, that part of avoir is missing. It should be j'ai mangé. What about number 2? Nous avoir perdu. Well, avoir hasn't been conjugated. It's just in the infinitive form. So you need to change it to correspond with the nous. So nous avons perdu. Tu as finir. You've got the right form of avoir, but you've just got the infinitive instead of changing it to the past participle. Should be tu as fini. Number 4. The wrong part of avoir here. Elles avaient écrit. It should be elles ont écrit. Number 5. J'ai joué. The accent's missing, isn't it, from the past participle? Number 6. Vous dit. You're missing your part of avoir. Vous avez dit. Number 7. Ils ont visité. Again, it's the infinitive, not the past participle. You need to take off the ER and put on E accent at the end of visiter. Je vécu. So part of avoir is missing here, isn't it? It should be j'ai vécu. Nous avons buvons. So we've got the present tense, buvons, instead of the past participle, which should be bu. And finally, vous ont fini. Should be vous avez fini. Okay, now then, as we've learned, most verbs take avoir in the perfect tense, but there are some verbs, it's quite a short list, that take être. And that's what we're going to learn about now. There are 13 verbs that use être in the perfect tense. They are mostly verbs of movement, a change of state. So mainly about either going somewhere or something to do with moving. There are several ways to remember them. You can learn them in pairs of opposite meanings, which is quite handy. You'll see in a second. So you've got to go somewhere, which is aller, and then venir, which means to come. The past participle for aller is regular, in that you take off the ER, you put on the accent. The past participle for venir is irregular, it's venu. Then you've got entrer, to go in, and sortir, to go out. You've got arriver, to arrive, and partir, to leave. You've got monter, to go up, or get on, like get on a bus, and descendre, to go down, or get off, to get off a bus. Naître, to be born, mourir, to die. Rester, to stay, retourner, to return. Tomber, to fall. You can have tomber en panne, to break down. Tomber amoureux, to fall in love. The easiest way, I think, though, to remember them is with Mrs. Van der Tramp. Here she is, Mrs. Van der Tramp. Who does she remind you of? Anyway, we've got monter, rester, sortir, venir, aller, naître, descendre, entrer, tomber, retourner, arriver, mourir, partir. Write this down because this will help you remember which verbs need to take être in the perfect tense. Okay, so make sure you write a list of these verbs just to remind you. These verbs also take être in the perfect tense. Can you work out why? Have a look. Revenir, devenir, rentrer. Well, because they're made up of other être verbs, venir and entrer. With être verbs, the past participle changes spelling, like adjectives do, to agree with the subject, the person or thing responsible for the action. Elle est allée, you have to add an E, an extra E. Nous sommes partis, you're adding an S because it's plural, we left. Elles sont arrivées, you're adding an extra E and an S. Only with être verbs. Have a look at these. The following perfect tense phrases contain errors. Explain what the errors are, note down the correction. So just have a little look. Remember, you need to use the correct form of être. For example, elle est partie. The past participle does not agree. It needs an E on it. Look at number 1. Ma mère et mon père sommes venus. Now the past participle has an S on it. It's agreeing, so that's right. But what form of the verb should we be using for my mum and my dad? Always think to yourself, my mum and my dad, comma, they. Okay, so we should be using the il, elle form of the verb. So it should be ma mère et mon père sont venus. Anyway, work your way through the rest, pause it here, and I'll bring up the answers. How did you get on? Could you work out what the errors were? Could you explain them? So we went through the first one together, didn't we? Ma mère et mon père. It's the wrong part of être. It should be sont venus. Number 2. Ils sont tombés amoureux. Something's missing, isn't it? The past participle does not agree. It needs an S because it's plural. Je partis avant toi. Number 3. Again, something missing, isn't there? Missing the part of être. Je suis parti. Tu es resté jusqu'à quelle heure? What time did you stay until? It's the wrong part of être again, isn't it? It should be tu es resté. Elles sont montées. Looks okay, it's got an S, hasn't it? But what's missing from the past participle? It needs an extra E. Je suis rentrée. We've got the infinitive instead of the past participle. Remember, if you're a girl, je suis rentrée, you need to add an extra E. Elle est allée au cinéma. Wrong part of être and using the infinitive, not the past participle. Ma voiture est tombée en panne. My car broke down. Ma voiture is feminine, so it needs an extra E. Mon frère est retourné. Wrong agreement of the past participle. Mon frère is masculine, doesn't need an extra E. Elle arrivait, we're missing the part of être. Okay, we are nearly there. You can see now, can't you, how important it is to learn avoir and être. Right, last exercise. Change the verbs in brackets into the perfect tense. This will really help you work through and just practice. So remember, again, in the bottom right hand corner you've got a reminder, you've got the subject, you need the present tense of avoir or être. Obviously these verbs all take être, and you also need your past participle. So off you go. Answers coming up in just a second. Je suis allée en ville. The E is in brackets because obviously if you're feminine you add the E. Number 2. Nous sommes descendus du train. It's an RE verb, takes a U. Elle est venue avec Marc. So it's an irregular past participle. Les filles sont parties à 19h. The girls left at 7 o'clock. Tu es arrivé à quelle heure? What time did you arrive? Numéro 6. Mes parents sont entrés dans le magasin. My parents went into the shop. Je suis né à Londres. I was born in London. Literally, the French say I am born. Mon poisson rouge est mort. My goldfish died. Nous sommes restés à l'hôtel. And numéro 10. Elle est sortie avec lui. I've just noticed, sorry, a typo. On number 9, nous sommes restés. Some should have an S, obviously. Numéro 10. Elle est sortie avec lui. Did she go out with him? Okay. Bravo, I think that's given you a good little revision of the perfect tense. Hope that was helpful, guys. and now use that to complete the rest of the lesson, okay, which is also on YouTube. Bonne chance, au revoir.